Yeah, please go.
Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all to our panel discussion today. GAIMS, the Global Association of Indian Medical Students, is a global organization representing the medical students. The organization was created to provide the highest possible standard of medical education to all Indian medical students across the world. SMR, it is the Squad Medicine and Research of the Students by the Students for the Students, is a multidisciplinary voluntary group. We aim to build an evidence-based approach to strengthen the healthcare through medical research. Okay, so today I welcome Dr. Charushila Rukadikar ma'am. She is currently working as an assistant professor in the Department of Physiology Medicine at All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Uttar Pradesh. She has completed her MBBS and MD Physiology from Government Medical College of Maharashtra, following which she worked as a faculty at Chirayu Medical College, Bhopal, Zydus Medical College, Gujarat, and Banas Medical College, Palampur, Gujarat. She is a member at various committees and is recognized as an active member for various academic as well as extracurricular activities in these institutes. She has also received the Best Faculty Award. She is very much interested in the field of research and thus speaking, this speaks for her more than 25 publications. Her areas of interest are neurophysiology, sports physiology, and ANS physiology. She has completed courses like epidemiology and biostatistics fundamentals from St. George Research Institute, Bangalore, techniques of physiological sciences from AIMS, Delhi, exercise and sports physiology course from Physical Education of India, advanced biostatistics and research methodology from ICMR, Delhi. She is an editorial board member of GJMS and Physiology Insight, which is a research bulletin of National Physiology Association of UP chapter. She has written many publications and presented posters at various conferences and has received the Best Paper and Poster Present awards at numerous occasions. She has judged many events of scientific research paper and poster presentation and has successfully guided students for ICMR STS, due to which students have received STS grants from ICMR. Ma'am is extremely approachable and encourages her students to utilize their maximum potential and reach great heights. We are extremely delighted to have you with us today, ma'am. I now request you to guide our students.
Thank you for the brief introduction. And first of all, I would like to congratulate Research Administration Society of GAIMS, Global Association of Indian Medical Students, and Squad Medicine and Research for taking an initiative regarding this roadmap for the ICMR STS program, because this is a need of the time and students are very much confused. So this is a very nice event which can be helpful for the students. So I would like to share my presentation regarding this. So is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's start with the brief outline regarding this STS, that is the short-term studentship program. So I would like to give a brief crisp of the why research. What are these actual STS projects? What are the application forms and the timeline for these STS projects? What actually builds this research proposal? If you are stuck up with any technical glitch, what are the solutions for this technical help and who can solve your queries? So let's go with the first thing, that why research. Every one of us knows that the research is the thing which can develop our thinking in terms of the cause and effect. So research is the thing which can create the new knowledge. And on this basis only, the DHR, that is the Department of Health Research, and the ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research, want to develop the interest for the research in the medical undergraduates. They want to provide as an opportunity for the research so that the students get idea about the research methodologies, how to proceed, how to develop the research proposal. And so that we get a much more researchers in the career field. So for this purpose, the ICMR since 1979 started this short-term studentship projects. So MBBS and the PDS students are eligible for this starting from the first year to the fourth year. But the fourth year students, before appearing from the fourth year final examinations, are eligible for this. The reward for this year, since this year, the reward is increases up from 10,000 to 25,000 per month. So we are going to do the research for the 2 months, and we will get, if the research report is accepted in the final stage, you will get almost rupees 25,000. And approximately for STS 2022, almost 15,000 students, 1,500 students will be get this reward, 1,200 from the MBBS and the 300 for the BDS. Let's see what are the application form details and the timeline. With this only, I will give you some guidelines regarding the projects. So first part is the online registration. That is the part A. Whenever you can upload this website, that is www.icmr.nic.in, you will get this type of the website. And in this, if you click on this STS 2022 registration, you will get this type of format. So you have to go for the online registration. You have to go for the simple details, that whenever you are filling up any registration form, you will get all these details. So you have to fill up the login details, course details, personal details, so that your registration will be completed in this part A. Let's go for the second part, which is important, that is the proposal submission. And this proposal submission, just see that for the registration, you have a deadline from the 21st Jan to the 11th Feb. So almost 15 days are remained. Okay. And for the proposal submission, you will get a 1 month. That is from the 21st Jan, it is started, and it will be up to the 21st Feb 2022. So we have a 1 month time duration for this proposal submission. Again, on the same website, if you can click this proposal submission, you will get the form like this. And here you have to complete part B, part C, and part D. Now just see that you have to select a guide for this. Now, regarding the short-term studentship project, you can select a guide only regular full-time faculty member. Just remember that whenever you are going to choose, select the regular full-time faculty member. The ratio should be 1 guide, 1 student. So be aware that by mistake or by anything, if you submit one guide, have submitted the 2 projects, then this is automatically, these projects will be rejected. So always remember that you have to submit under only 1 guide, and 1 guide should guide as a sign for only 1 student. Now here you have the flexibility that the first year student can take the guide of the medicine faculty or surgery faculty, or from the preclinical, from the paraclinical, from any year faculty you can select. Here there is one more concept of the co-guide. Now remember that the co-guide, you can take a co-guide, but it is not compulsory. And ICMR give the whole authority of the project, your STS project, to the only guide, not to the co-guide. Even on your certificate also, the name mentioned is of the main guide, not of the co-guide. But for your convenience, for your help, you can take the help of the co-guide also. Now the third part is the enclosures, which you have to fill up for this project. So you can see now there are the few enclosures. One is the application attestation form, second ethical committee approval, third informed consent form, case study form, and study questionnaire. So now in this, if you are clicking the application submission for 2022, you will get in the download section application attestation forms. You can see here. Now, if you just click this download section and application attestation form, you will get the type of this format. This PDF will be there. And here you have to fill up all the details, STS reference ID, which will be whenever you are going to do the registration, in your email ID, you will get this reference ID, login IDs, and passwords. Okay, so you have to fill up that reference ID. You have to keep this reference ID for the long time, because anytime you have to do any communication with the ICMR STS, then you have to give this reference ID. You have to give all these details, title of the project, title of the medical college, name of the medical college. Here, there are the 3 signatures are most important. One is of your guide, one is of the head of the department, and third is the head of the institution. So you have to take these 3 signatures along with the stamps, and then only you have to scan it and submit it in the format of PDF. Remember that whatever the documents you are submitting, it is in the form of PDF, and the resolution and the this size is given in the guidelines. Okay. Now the second thing that IEC, that is the Institutional Ethical Committee, or IAEC, that is Institutional Animal Ethical Committee approval. Now at this stage, if you are in the preparation stage, you can submit it now also with the project proposal, or you can submit it later also along with the report submission. You have to just make a PDF of the thing that I have applied for the IEC or IAEC, and then you can upload that PDF also at this time if you want, or you can submit it later. The compulsory document in this section is only the application attestation form. For the informed consent, if you are doing the study on the humans, then you have to take the proper informed consent. There are the national ethical guidelines for the biomedical and health research on the human participants. You can get all these details on the ICMR sites, and through this, you have to prepare a proper informed consent, and then after scanning it, you have to upload it. The same thing is for the case study form and the study questionnaire if your study is on the basis of questionnaire. Now here, if you are using the standard questionnaire, okay, which is already present, then you have to take a proper permission, and then only you can use it. If not, if you have prepared the questionnaire, you have to make the questionnaire, and then you have to validate it, and then only you have to upload this. Okay. So after this, the last part and the main important part as per the scientific view is the research proposal. Now here, the terminologies are the title, type of study, subject area, name of the department, and the research proposal, including the basic synopsis details. Okay. So if you see for the research proposal, if in the STS 2020, you have applied for the STS 2020 proposals, and if it is selected, but due to the COVID emergencies, if you have not able to complete it, at that time also, at this time, you can resubmit this proposal, same to same proposal. But again, you are in this same competition. Okay. And the second is that regarding the title, if you and your friend have decided one topic and both of you are doing the same study, it is not acceptable. Okay. So you have to select individual topic. It is not permitted that on the same topic, 2 or more students have to work. Okay. Second thing, regarding the type of study, ICMR is much more flexible. From the clinical investigation, epidemiological investigation, field operations, health education, lab investigation, product development, therapy and management, any type of study you can do. Okay. Apart from this, if you are thinking something out of the box, then also you can do. ICMR given you that much freedom that you have to mention this. Only one thing is exception, that is you don't have to do the clinical trials. Okay. Next thing is regarding the subject area, the ICMR has given the starting from the anatomy, biochemistry, physiology, that is from the preclinical subject to up till the last year subject, medicine, surgery. You can take any subject. Apart from this, the lifestyle medications or obesity, the environmental factors, you can take anything. And apart from this guidelines, if you are thinking something different, then also ICMR gives you the freedom, but you have to mention it on which thing you are going to do the research. Regarding this, I just want to say one quote, that is the imagination is the highest form of the research. So you just imagine what you want to do. First, select the broad area, then go on the research, go just see the PubMed index or the standard references for your topic, and then just concise it, and then fix one idea, and then you start the preparation of the project. Okay, so you have to select a very good topic, but for this you have to go through all these revisions. Okay, it is not like that you just think and you will get this idea. You need to search for this, and where you will search, In the Google, there are the multiple online resources, but in that, go for the authentic references, go for the PubMed index articles, and then go for the good topic. Now, as we discussed that the research proposal will be in the form of the title, introduction, objectives. Regarding the title, the word limit is 25. Make it short, accurate, and concise. Okay, it should make the objectives clear to the reviewer. Just remember that this is the only part through which your topic will be selected or rejected. So this file, this PDF file is most important. In that, so you have to be very much specific. I want this. Okay, the effect of the obesity on the pulmonary function test, effect of the obesity on the cardiovascular system. So just be specific that what you want to do. Okay. Now in the introduction, please provide the rationale behind the work, why you want to do this study, what are the reasons that led you to select this topic, what is the importance of this study. Describe the experimental design, but it is not like that you explain all the methodology in the introduction section. Okay, you have to just brief outline that what you are going to do. If there are any gaps in the existing knowledge and if there are any controversies, you have to mention it, but you have to remember to give the standard authentic references. Whenever you are talking about the science, you have to talk with authentic references. Objectives, make it specific, to the point, and remember that make the objectives which are achievable, because these are the projects which you have to complete during your academic studies. So though you are thinking out of the box, whenever you are coming to the project objectives, make it the achievable. Okay. The next thing is the methodology. Describe in detail all the procedure. This is the section which is of the ICMR gives more weightage. For the explanation also, you can see that almost they have given the freedom of the 800 words. Okay, so you have to explain in detail, starting from the type of study, study design, study population, sample size, how you calculated it, statistical analysis, how you are going to do this, which test you have used, proposed interventions, data collection procedures, what instruments you are using, quality control, confidentiality. You have to explain all these things if you have taken ethical consideration. So mention all these things under the subheadings properly. And the last part is that the implications, what is expected to be achieved from this proposed research. So what is the use to the community? What is the use to the society of your research? Okay, so this is also the most important highlighting point, which will be important for the selection or the rejection of the synopsis. And at last, the references, take the recent references and into the Vancouver style. Okay, so you will get all the guidelines of this Vancouver style, how to formulate these references. So according to this, make a proper PDF from the entitled to the references. Okay. So we have seen this all process, that is the part A, which have already started, and you have only 15 days for the registration. Part B, C, D, that is the proposal submission and synopsis, you have 1 month. After this, there will be the evaluation by the ICMR, and then there will be the list of the selected candidate around in the April to May. I think first week of the May. Okay. Just remember that any registration, application, proposal submission, or any such request will not be accepted or entertained by the ICMR under any circumstances after the last date or after the time is over. So just remember that the last date, 11th Feb is for the registration and 21st Feb is for the proposal submission. Don't miss it. After this selection, whatever the selected students are there, from this list, these students will be given the 2 months from the May to September 2022. They have to complete the study and they have to submit their report by 29th October 2022. After which, again, there will be the second evaluation by the ICMR. And then the STS award will be given to the 1,500 students. Okay. So this regarding this STS report, we can discuss later also. But now the most important is the registration part and the synopsis part. Okay, so proposal submission for part, which is already included. So here there are the some details from where you can get a help. That STS HRD 2017 @gmail.com. You can ask all the queries through this email ID, and for the scientific queries, for the technical support, for the administrative support, there are the particular extension numbers. If you are doing the registration but you are not able to register, or any type of the queries that can be solved from this. Okay, so these all things are given on the website also. My role today was just to give you the brief idea, or if there is any fear in your mind that whether it is possible, is it easy to do the STS project. So I'm just telling you, just take an experience. Okay, just register it, just search the material, pick out one topic, and through this go for the submission. So my best wishes for the proposal submission. And again, I would like to thank to the Research Administration Society of the GAIMS, Global Association of Indian Medical Students, and SPAD Medicine and Research for giving the opportunity. Thank you. And I hope that it will be helpful for the students who want to prepare the project. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for sharing your knowledge, ma'am. I'm sure all of us have gained a little bit of confidence and will be applying for the STS cycle soon as possible. Now I introduce you to the second speaker, Dr. Prachit Sir. He is currently working as an associate professor in the Department of Community Medicine at the reputed Kasturba Medical College, Mangalore, and which is affiliated with the Manipal Academy of Higher Education. He previously worked as a faculty member at Yenepoya Medical College, Mangalore for more than 7 years. During his employment at Yenepoya, he has also held additional responsibilities like faculty in charge of urban healthcare and NSS program officer. He was a member of various committees like the website committee, in which he served as a conveyor, scientific review board, annual report committee, to name a few. He was also a member of the Academic Council of Yenepoya, deemed to be university. His areas of interest include mental health, geriatrics, and non-communicable diseases. He has 32 publications in peer-reviewed journals. He has also authored a chapter in the IAPSM textbook of community medicine. As the principal investigator, he has received research grants from organizations like ICMR, the Union, and the National TB Elimination Program State Task Force. He has guided students for ICMR and has received the Best Paper Award in conferences on 9 occasions and has delivered more than 100 talks as a resource person. Sir, I now request you to please share some details about ICMR.
Thank you, Aradhana, for that introduction. And thank you, Dr. Charushila ma'am, for that very elaborate presentation. You really made my job easy. And at the outset, I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me here for this great program. And as Dr. Charushila rightly said, this is the need of the hour, because the applications have already opened and many students would want to apply for this. So kudos to you guys for organizing this program. Give me a moment. I'll share my screen. Can you see my PowerPoint?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. So kindly pardon me if there's any overlap between what Dr. Charushila said and what I'm going to speak. I'll ensure that my presentation is different from what has already been spoken about. So, yeah. So in this session, I will be mainly concentrating on how to choose an appropriate topic for ICMR STS. Okay. So first of all, why is it that students want to do ICMR STS? Why is it? What could be the reasons? Many of them would want to get trained in research, of course, for guides as well. For the faculty members, they would want that feather in their cap, wherein they get an opportunity to mentor students towards research. And many students would gain some intellectual joy in solving the unsolved problems, because research is something that gets a lot of credit, it gets a lot of respectability. And then there could be some other factors. I see many of them approaching me for research, saying that, okay, this is a requirement of my USMLE program. I want to appear for the USMLE. I want to appear for PLAB or some other foreign medical entrance. So those are not the right reasons to do research actually. Okay. Why is it that one would want to apply for such a program? Is to, we need to identify the right reasons. We need to be passionate about research, because research is not easy. Of course, it's a part of the undergraduate medical education curriculum now. If you look at the new competency-based medical education curriculum, research is an integral part of that. But having said that, applying for something like ICMR STS, we need to have that passion or fire inside us. Only then we need to go ahead and do it. Yes, it's always nice to try, but at the same time, we should, have the right reasons for going ahead and doing research. So I'm sure already we know what exactly is ICMR STS. If you can go through this particular website, I'll take a moment. I'll just run you through the website now. So can you see this website here? Yes, this is the ICMR. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so this is the ICMR STS website. You can see different headings under this. Ma'am has already explained this in detail. We have about us, wherein you get the description what exactly is ICMR STS, and the timeline of STS. Also you can find the application submission process, the instructions, everything is here, what needs to be done, when will the result be declared, the results of the previous year also you can find. We also have contact us, the email ID, they respond to you. If you can email them, then they'll respond to you within 1 day. Then we also have something called FAQs, the frequently asked questions related to ICMR STS. So all your questions can be answered. Go through the FAQ document. You get to know a lot of valuable information here. When does it begin? How do I choose the topic? I want to apply for a STS. Is there any nationality criteria? What is the eligibility criteria? How do I apply? Okay. And what are the other major questions? You get to know here, So go through the FAQ document. You can also search for some other questions here in the ICMR website. So what I'm trying to tell you here is go through the STS website in detail before you jump in, before you start the process. Go through the website. It's very useful. It's very insightful. And then this is the timeline which ma'am already spoke about. The applications have already opened. Many of you would have already applied for it. And once you register for it, that the deadline for it is 11th February, and then you have to submit your proposal and the application attestation form by 21st February 2022. And then they review the applications. Okay, ma'am told you that 1,500 students will get selected, 1,200 medical students and 300 students who are pursuing BDS. How many medical and dental students do we have all over India? We may have, I'm guessing that we may have around 1 lakh medical students and maybe almost the same number of dental students as well. And of which maybe 20 to 30% may apply for this, because the awareness has increased. People like you are, have taken great pains to create awareness in the student community. So maybe around 20 to 30% may apply for it. So all these proposals are reviewed in that 1 or 2 months duration, February to March 2022. Okay, it's hardly 1 month. And then they come up with the result. April to May 2022 is result. And then those who get selected, they will have to work on their research. They are given time up to September to work on their research, and then they submit the report between August to October 2022. The reports are also reviewed very seriously. They do an administrative review of the reports. They look at the ethical clearance date. Many of them, many students, what they do, they take ethical clearance after doing their research or while doing their research. That's unethical. And that is one ground for rejection of the report. So always make sure that ethical clearance is obtained before you start the research. So October to Jan 2023, they review the reports, and then the final report, the final result comes in at around February to 2023. And then by June 2023, they dispatch the stipend, what ma'am said, 25,000 per month for 2 months 50,000. So it acts as a stipend that you can't use that to do your research, because research will have to be self-funded. You'll have to finish that earlier itself. This is like a stipend for you guys, whoever gets selected. And then e-certificates are issued by October 2023, wherein in the e-certificate, the student's name and the guide's name will be there. So this is the timeline and how to select a topic. We have something called trust areas of research in the ICMR website. Do go through that. This is the website wherein you will find the trust area for research. Let us jump in there. So these are the trust areas that we have. You can see it's very broad. It could be communicable diseases. It could be tribal health, RCH, nutrition, non-communicable diseases, basic medical sciences, and traditional medicine. So all these are the thrust areas that we as medicos can look into, and we can try formulating our research questions around one of these thrust areas. But having said that, it's very broad. There's no hard and fast rule that you need to stick to these thrust areas only. Okay. So you can take any topic related to medical or dental research depending on research interest. So the only criteria is it should be relevant and there should be some creation of new knowledge. It should help the student to gain new knowledge or skills. Okay. And do not select very common topics. Research should not be done on something that is very, very well established or on known facts. Something like prevalence of hypertension. I'm a community medicine man, so I can give you that example. Prevalence of hypertension in the community. It's already been studied. Okay, we will find at least 100 papers on hypertension prevalence in PubMed. So do not go for something that has already been researched. Okay, so go for something that is novel, at the same time feasible. Go for something that is not well researched. So list of subject areas are also given on the ICS website. Ma'am has already spoken about this. So it could be either clinical investigations, an epidemiological study, or a field-based operational research, health education, lab investigations, product development, therapy and management, or if there's any other, ICMR also gives you the flexibility, but you'll have to specify it. So these are the types of studies, and then subject areas. As ma'am said, anything that is related to medicine and dentistry, any of the medicine and allied health, medicine related subjects and dentistry related subjects come under these. So it could be accident, anatomy, anesthesia, biochemistry, child health. You'll find this entire list in the ICMR website. Geriatrics, gynecology and obstetrics, human genetics, microbiology, obesity, ophthalmology, oral health could be a subject area, oral surgery, orthopedics, pharmacology, public health, and even traditional medicine could be a subject area. If it doesn't fit into any of this, you could also specify it. You'll have to specify it in your application form. So it is very broad, as I can say, as I already said. No, ICMR doesn't mandate you to select this particular topic only. It's very broad. The subject areas are very broad. So it's up to you and your guide to decide. Okay, it depends on your guide's interest, your guide's specialty, as well as what you want to do. So you need to think hard and decide what exactly you want to do. What is that area? What is that research question that actually fascinates you? Then go to your guide, who will be able to help you, will be able to correct you, will be able to fine tune the research question. So you can find the application process here. So it's all there in the ICMR STS website. This is the application process. You'll have to download it before you go and submit the proposal. Please download this application process for STS 2022. So all that what ma'am said is there in the application process document, this very important PDF document. So part A is your student particulars, the student related details. Part B, C, and D are related to the proposal. So you'll have to enter details related to your guide. Some mandatory enclosures are also there, what ma'am said. The application attestation form is the only thing that is mandatory at this stage. Then you have the proposal format as well. Whatever ma'am said, you will get in this particular document. Type of study, subject area, which both ma'am and I emphasized. So the entire application process is there in this document. Please download this document and read it very clearly before you submit your proposal. Okay. Some other basic points. Your title is the first chance to catch the reviewer's interest. As I said, many students apply. We don't exactly know the exact numbers, how many of them apply for this ICMR STS, but you all know that there are lakhs of students, medical and dental students in our country, and at least around 20% may go jump in and apply for this ICMR STS, out of which only around 1,500 have that privilege of being selected. So you need to create a good first impression. Okay, so your title needs to be good. Okay, but having said that, it should include all the specific information. Your study design should be there in the title. Okay, one good example of a well formulated title could be assessment of knowledge of obstetric danger signs among pregnant women attending a teaching hospital, a cross sectional study from South India. So all the basic details, like what exactly is your primary objective or research question, what exactly you want to do in this study, where is your study being conducted, what is your study design, all that has to be there in the title. But at the same time, it can be even catchy. Okay, so then you need to think of your research question. The single most important aspect of a research study is your research question. So make sure you formulate your research question properly. We have something called the finer criteria. F stands for feasible, I stands for interesting, N stands for novel, E stands for ethical, R stands for relevant. So let us go through each point one by one. So first of all, your research question has to be feasible. A good research question is always feasible. Don't think of something that you cannot achieve within the timeline, because you have just practically 3 or 4 months, May to September. Okay, so you should think about the feasibility. You are a medical student, remember, and as ma'am said, you're not allowed to do clinical trials here. Many of them come up with very ambitious ideas and they say, okay, I want to do an ICMR STS out of it. So always look at the feasibility part. Just check, just think over whether you will be able to get adequate number of participants. Do you and your guide have the technical experience or expertise to do this particular study? Is it affordable, both in terms of time and cost? Being realistic is very important. Yes, as I said earlier, you should not be a very commonly researched topic. There should be something new in it or something that is not well researched, but we also need to keep our feet on the ground. We should be as realistic as possible, because we don't expect you to do something that is earth shattering, a great discovery, right? That is not possible. That's not feasible. Even the reviewers of this ICMR STS will look into the feasibility. Then comes interesting. It should be interesting to you. Always, share it with your guide and maybe some other senior faculty member and take their opinion. So it should be interesting to you and to your peers, other researchers, to the reviewers, as well as the funders. Okay, and then novel. So novelty doesn't mean that it should be the first ever study or something that is very earth shattering. As I said, a first discovery or something like that. It should be feasible. You should keep your feet on the ground, but at the same time, it should not be something that is well researched, something that everybody knows about. So it should be novel, and then it should be ethical. Before you do a study, it should be approved by the institutional ethics committee or review board. Almost all research studies that involve humans participants require this particular ethical review and a consent process. So all that has to be taken care of. And finally, it should be relevant. Always think, how is your study findings going to impact the community? So here in our ICMR STS format, we have something called implications. Think of the implications. So it's always good to have this particular format before you sit down and prepare your proposal. Think of these 5 finer, FINER, and decide if it fits into this finer criteria. Okay, and always a well formulated research question should have the adequate information. So instead of just saying that does watching TV cause obesity, which is very vague, it's better to go more specific. Okay, so look into the finer criteria. And then when you're formulating your objectives, as ma'am said, they are going to review your objectives very seriously. Your objectives also have to be very well formulated. Okay, it should be SMART. What does SMART stand for? SMART is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time tested. Okay, so always sit with your guide. Don't simply formulate some objective and then random objective and upload it. Always get it reviewed by your guide. So there are some action verbs that we can use to frame the objectives. These are some of the action verbs. Okay, so make sure that one of the action verbs they fit into the list of action verbs that have been specified. Okay, and don't have too many research objectives also. I see some proposals where they have 7 research objectives, 6 research objectives. We don't expect that much, because as I said, feasibility is something that you need to think about. You don't have much time. Keep only 2 or 3, not more than 2 or 3 research objectives. Okay, so these are some examples of well formulated research objectives which are specific, measurable, achievable, and relevant and time tested to determine the prevalence of hypophosphatemia, critically ill children, to find out the proportion of patients with recurrent dermatophyte infection. So make sure that your research question fits into that finer criteria and your research objectives are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time tested. So this is very important, my friends. And of course, basic steps of any medical research have to be followed. You need to plan the research. Once you formulate the objectives, you need to give a lot of thought into your methodology, because methodology here in your ICMR STS includes around 800 to 1000 words. You have to be as elaborate as possible. Okay, choose the appropriate research design, the method of data collection, the plan of your data analysis, everything you need to be clear. So you need to sit with your guide, have many sittings and take the guide's input and only formulate these things. Okay, and your research proposal, we have minimum words, maximum words that have been given by the ICMR. Title is up to 25 words, introduction 300 words, objective 100 words, methodology around 800 words, implications around 100 words, and references. Make sure the references are cited properly according to Vancouver style only. So all these, any of these, if they are not well properly done, it could lead to rejection, because the competition is immense now. There are many people applying, and we have, the stipendship, the money has increased. The vacancies are only 1500, 1200 if you talk about medicos. So you need to be, thorough, and your proposal needs to be complete in all aspects. And very important point, do not include any of your identifiers. Do not include your name anywhere, your guide's name, your contact details, your proposal, your telephone number, email ID, all these should not be there. Okay, if any of this, if there's any evidence that you belong to this particular college or this particular place, then that could also lead to rejection. So be careful. As I said earlier, please read that application process document and the FAQs that are mentioned in the ICMR STS website. It's very important to read that. Okay, now we have submitted the proposal. What next? Do not wait. My personal advice to all of you is get on with it. Go apply for the IEC clearance. Formulate your questionnaire, your consent form, your participant information sheet, whatever is required, formulate it. Sit with your guide, apply for the ethical clearance. Implement it irrespective of the funding. Yes, not all proposals get funded. That doesn't mean you throw your idea into the dustbin. Complete it. Complete the research. Keep in touch with your guide. Once you get selected, or even if it's rejected, always keep in touch with your guide. You should drive the research forward, not the guide, because the guides are faculty members. They have their own responsibilities, teaching, training, research, clinical work. So you need to take the initiative and drive the research forward. So always do not wait. Get on with it, apply for ethical clearance, try to implement your project irrespective of the funding. Few more tips: collaborate. Try to collaborate with other students. Okay, I'm not talking about ICMR STS alone. In general, take guidance as far as possible. Adhere to the timelines, and do not forget to disseminate the findings. Always remember to disseminate the findings. Once you do the research, any research that is not published is waste. So you need to publish it. Also, conference presentation. Disseminate the findings in various conference presentations. That is very important. Okay. Remember, this is not the end. This is just a beginning. Okay. So in the last few minutes, I have concentrated more on the thrust areas of research and how to exactly select a topic and what next after submission. So I thank you all for giving me an opportunity. I'd be happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. This definitely helped us understand the technicalities and the vast areas of research better. The question and answer session we will take at the end, sir. So if that's okay.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Thank you.
I now introduce you to our third speaker, Soumya Nagendra, a final year medical student at Bangalore Medical College and Research Institute. Her ICMR project titled Microbiology Analysis of Post-Pulmonary Tuberculosis Infection was approved in the year 2019. She had presented the study in the form of posters and papers in various research competitions and conferences, and has also won the Best Paper and Poster Award. She has also published a couple of articles and has mentored many students. Having a keen interest in research, let's now listen to her experience with the ICMR STS project.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, thank you, Aradhana. And just let me know if there are any technical problems. Now, I actually don't know, like, as in the past previous two speakers, that is Charushila ma'am and Prachit sir, have done a really great job. And sometimes I feel like if I had this session, maybe when I did my ICMR project, it would have been far better, because I had some difficulties and I even learned new things, which I'll be speaking about right now. Now, to begin with, my project was a hybrid one. That means it had both clinical and paraclinical aspects. Now, you will be listening to sort of a student's perspective, like you will be understanding what you'll be going through as in when you do an ICMR project. Now, the first thing that you will learn, and which I learned, was I had to go to patients and collect their sputum sample for the study and then go and do the lab work. Now, when you go and talk to strangers, in the sense I mean patients and their attenders, you have to explain them your research, maybe in 2 minutes or 3 minutes, convince them, take an informed consent, and then they have to, wholesomely participate in your research. Now, this takes a lot of, confidence, and also you will understand that communication is the key. Now, as doctors who we will be in future, communication and talking with patients and gaining their trust is a sort of the basic thing. And you will learn this really very well apart from the project which is being considered. Now, of course, when we go to postings, we do talk with patients, but when you go there, you stand alone, you talk with patients, and then you try to, understand what their problem is and all that stuff. You will really be a better clinician and also a better doctor in future. One thing that you can do is you can also learn the basic history taking skills and also clinical examination when you do or you go to people or take subjects for your sample size. Other thing is, of course, you will gain more experience and you can flaunt it. How? So one thing is, mine was a microbiology one, and I had to go to lab and I myself did culture plating. Now, there may be lots of people who do, because there are lab technicians who keep doing culture, maybe 1,000, 2,000 every day in each hospital. But when you sit there and you heat the spatula and take and do the culture, it's a different experience and you will love it. I'm sure of that. And if you're doing maybe some clinical thing, or when it is a subject of your choice and a subject which you love, you will understand more in deep, as in maybe one disease, but you will understand how each and every person who is living with the disease, what are the practical difficulties, and maybe you will know more and in depth. That's one thing. And yes, what I suggest you is, just as Prachit sir told, don't wait for the approval, or even if it gets rejecting or anything as such, just complete the research. Why? Because let me tell you, maybe there are like 5, 10 thousands of points, but I'll just try to highlight the important ones, like what are the advantages as such. One is, of course, you will discover new things. And maybe, who knows, you will be a great scientist in the future and you will direct your further career towards research. That's one thing. Second thing, when you do a sort of a study in the subject, if you like the subject, or if you thought that you like the subject, you will really know whether you want to do this subject or you want to pursue a career in this or not. If yes, great, you know what you'll be doing after 7 years. If no, then you have just one subject out of your choice in future career or PG or anything. The second thing is, of course, you'll be a great clinician, you will improve your medical skills, and you will start interacting with people far better. The other thing is, of course, as the speaker even introduced, you can go to conferences Like you can do a poster presentation, have better public speaking skills, and it will improve your, CV also. Just as sir told, having a feather in the cap in CV is, yes, it's not the motive for research, but yes, that also comes with research. It's like you just go behind doing research and these things come in your CV as it is. And those are some things like you will get new experiences, new fellow people who are similar minded in conferences, and you can also collaborate on future research. That's one thing. And last but not the least, you will know a sort of a trailer for something which is like a movie. What do I mean by that? So when we do post-graduation, we all do write theses, right? Of course, I'm not a PG myself, but yes, everyone does write. So this ICMR project is to PG theses. It's like a trailer to a movie. So you will be having better experience and maybe we will perform better. Of course, I can say when I be there, but yes, that's what we think so. And what I think is, if you follow whatever sir told, that is the SMART criteria and the final criteria, and do a research, you will all be having a better, smart, and a final personality also after 3 months because of interacting with people and all the things. But what are the downfalls? Not downfalls, difficulties. Yes, of course, sometimes you'll be finding yourself sitting for 2 hours doing review article, like reading review articles and studies on the internet, but you can't even write 2 lines in your research proposal. But that's okay. That's how it happens. You will learn like maybe some 10 to 20 different research projects, but you will just fill in like 2 to 3 lines in your proposal. That's how it is. And the second thing is, you may be, wandering around in your hospitals, in the wards, just for the sample. And yes, as ma'am told, last date is really a last date. And sometimes it's really difficult to meet the deadline also. So just be more prepared in advance. And I can say in short words, as in ICMR STS is a journey. And it's actually a very beautiful journey. I feel very happy to, remember this memorable experience of mine. And I hope everyone or each one of you who is watching will have a small research project of your own, which is entitled to you and your guide by the end of this year. So I wish all the best for you and just have a research in your name. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I now introduce you to our fourth speaker, Virenchi CV. He studies at D.Y. Patil Medical College and is a third-year medical student. He has done his schooling and preschooling days from Bangalore. He is passionate about surgery and shows a lot of interest in research and developing muscle around it. He has always viewed research as an opportunity to explore and discover new things. Virenchi was a part of Summer Research Medical Enrichment Program at George Washington SMHS with their research director Jeffrey Bethany and medical director Stanley Knoll. He by ICMR and Dr. D.Y. Patil Medical College. Was also shortlisted for cardiothoracic surgical skill development at Stanford University. He considers himself as an extrovert and believes it to be an important aspect of personality development.
Thanks a lot, Aradhana. And thanks a lot. First of all, good evening to one and all. And I thank GAIMS for giving me an opportunity to share my insights on ICMR STS project. Before getting started, I think every student should be very curious, should have focus and perseverance. And lastly, an open mind to explore topics when you start thinking about doing a research project. Because what happens is, I really like the topic cardiology. So initially I was beating, before I was thinking about to do research, I was only finding topics which were around cardiology. But I think being a second year student, when I applied, it's not very easy. Someone will, give you a cardiac topic right in second year because you're not very well versed yet. So be open to explore your topics, okay? And before approaching any guide, I request every student to do a groundwork. Don't go blank to your guides with like saying they'll suggest a topic and I'll just do that. Because what happens in long run is you will not have a lot of enthusiasm to carry forward the project if you're not selected. Rather, if you choose the topic, when I mean choose the topic, like debate around with yourself, like write down 3-4 topics, why this and why not others. And when you approach your guide in this manner, your guide will also see the seriousness in you to do the project. It's just not for funding you're doing. And I think rightly said by Prachit sir and Charushila ma'am, it is very important to not only do this to go and apply for USMLE or PLAB. It is to actually challenge and frame new research questions. That's the, I think, basic of any research project. And now coming to the research which I got selected in the year 2020. It was right during the pandemic when the results came out. And my topic was to analyze vitamin B12 and D3 levels among corporate employees who are specifically vegetarians. So when I chose the topic, the reasons why I chose the topic, and I urge all the students who's watching this to work on similar lines and similar questions they need to ask themselves before framing a research question. One is, why this topic, why not other topics? If you're able to answer this first question, I think your zeal and motive to complete the project is going to be there till the end. Second, what is the impact of this project in the environment right now? Like, we can't always choose a topic which is very simple. At the same time, we can't choose those topics which are already done. Like, there are ample of information on PubMed and other different sources, right? So try to be unique. And at the same time, how are you going to impact in the environment? And lastly, you should have a clear-cut, methodology when you sit down with your guide. Because if you don't understand your own methodology, how you're going to progress forward, it'll be very difficult to complete the project because it won't be clear. And lastly, I think challenges during pandemic, and I still think which is happening right now, which is continuing at least, is first of all, the patients or participants wouldn't be very much interested in taking part. Okay. And explaining them in 2 to 3 minutes and convincing them is a very important factor. So tell them how are they going to benefit out of your project. Tell them how are they contributing towards educating other medical students and the whole fraternity. Because there are a lot of people, if they understand the cause, they'll actually, it'll encourage them. And with their help, a lot of other participants will also join your project and you can complete it. And the most important thing which I learned through this whole process was to plan, organize, and execute. And believe me, every time you plan, organize, and you try to execute, it's not necessarily this will turn out to be positive. There can be a lot of setbacks. And when you have a setback, you need to deal with those situations again by planning and organizing. So if you do this thoroughly, I think doing any research project will be easy. And lastly, I think enjoy the journey while you're curating the research project rather than worrying if you'll be selected or not. Because it's only 1,500 students, in which only 1,200 medical students and 300 BDS. The chances of getting selected is very less. At times, even having a very good research topic won't let you get selected. So don't, stop yourself if you don't get selected. Like as my previous speakers told, please go ahead, apply for your ethics committee and move forward with the project. And lastly, ethics. I think, guys, this we are very looked down upon when we go to other countries. Ethics is a term which is very undermined in our colleges also. A lot of advice you will get from your peer group as well as faculty at times to just go forward to start the project even without ethics approval. I urge you guys, please don't do that. Once only when you have your ethics committee approval, that's when you start. It's not because anyone will know, but you know that you don't have an approval, so just don't start it. That's the most basic line of I think, ethical value and standard which we all should possess as future doctors. And I thank my guide, Swati Gonge, who helped me in the time of pandemic to get through the project. I just submitted in November. And my mentor, Nilesh, sir, for this. So that's my piece. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Virendra. Now I introduce you the last. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Now I introduce you to the last speaker, Tarun Suvari sir. He is a third-year medical student studying at Dr. NTRUHS, Andhra Pradesh. He is the current national president for GAIMS and is the co-founder and executive director of Squad Medicine and Research, SMR, and served as national director for Raso GAIMS in the past. He is the current Associate Editor-in-Chief, Global Journal of Medical Students, which is an official publication of GAIMS. Tarun Suvari has numerous publications in his credit in reputed international and national journals. He presented his research work at the Incision IGSS 2021 Young European Scientist Yes Meeting 2020 towards for Unity Health TUFH, Mexico 2020, Royal Society of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene, London 2020, and many international and national conferences. He has several awards under his name. Having significant experience in research, let's now listen to his suggestions to students.
Thank you so much for the kind introduction. Good evening to everyone, panelists and the attendees. So basically, I'm not an STS scholar, but I applied my STS 2029 project. So I want to more emphasize on what mistakes I have done while applying for ICMR STS 2019, when I'm very beginner and new to research, and other research related aspects which we need to keep in mind while applying for ICMR STS. And also majority of the thing was already covered by our previous speakers. So I will go very briefly so that we can proceed next for the question and answer session. So first of all, like why should we try to do the ICMR STS? So it's not for CV, it's not for to get the 50,000 fund, or it's not for any other thing. So it's basically to have some good research experience, and it's a brand for an undergraduate medical research. So if you see, undergraduate medical research is not so common, and the only thing which was quite popular and the quite initiated to encourage undergraduate medical research is ICMR STS. So that's why I urge all students to kindly try for it, and if not selected, try for it, continue it. And my topic of title is a study on antimicrobial therapy for inpatients of a tertiary care hospital in India, influence of antibiogram data and microbiological surveillance of hospital environment. So this is my topic of title, which I applied for ICMR STS 2019. So 2019. So how did I choose my field of study and topic? So like many people are asking, how should I take my topic, or how should I take my subject? So I was more keen interest towards antimicrobial resistance at that point of time. So I want to explore more in that topic. So the thing is mainly related to the microbiology department. So I approached one of my microbiology professor, and I have discussed my ideas with him. So then he also brainstormed the idea with me. We both discussed, and we collaboratively came up with this title and the project, and we have applied for the ICMR STS thing. And it's not like this subject is more having more importance, or this subject have more weightage for selection. So all the subjects or all the fields which were mentioned in the ICMR website have equal importance and equal weightage. So I suggest students to go with their topic of interest or subject of interest, rather than worrying about this subject will be great or this subject will be great. And also, it's not like that you are studying that your project will be not selected if you choose a final year topic. Even a first year student can take the final year topic subject like or medicine. If they are confident enough, they can handle the research project. And regarding COVID-19 as a topic of study, so the first thing we should always see is the feasibility as suggested by Dr. Prechet sir. So make sure you may or may not get adequate number of COVID-19 if thought and we may or may not expect we have good ample of cases. Be careful while choosing the study topic, because if there aren't adequate number of study subjects during your study period, you may ended up with not completing your successful project. And what lessons I learned from my previous application mostly are, I just now yesterday I have again opened my old proposal and I have checked how I applied and how I wrote my proposal at that point of time, and how are me now. So the major mistake I done is the references. So my references are not in the Vanco style. I have just found it. So basically, I am thinking it's the gross mistake where my proposal got first, like it's the initial scrutiny. So if it doesn't satisfy the proper guidelines, however that novel topic yours is, you will be definitely get rejected. So make sure you will follow all the proper guidelines mentioned in the ICMR STS website. So make sure you will write your references in Vanco style. And next thing is methodology. So it was a good methodology, but still I'm at this point of time when I see that methodology, I thought, okay, the methodology could be more better, especially in terms of sample size calculation. So I also suggest students to make sure your methodology is very good. So make sure you have chosen the right study design. Make sure you have calculated the sample size very correctly, and also study sampling method. So how you selected the sampling. So keep that in mind. And coming to my introduction and implications, both were good. I found it satisfactory even now also. So now I try to improvise in all aspects and I will apply. But anyhow, the final result would be on their hands. So as Virenchi said, even though our topic was very good, if the competition is very high, there are high chances we will get ended up with rejection. However, we will continue the project and further present or publish it. So please cross-check those aspects while you are preparing your proposal. And what is the ultimate goal? Like what is the ultimate goal after doing ICMR STS? So you have finished it, you have submitted the report, and the report was got final approval by ICMR, and now you will get the certificates, and now you will get the stipend into your account. And there was major misconception by many students that after immediately selecting your project, many are thinking that the stipend you will get. No, once you finish your project, you will submit your research report to the ICMR. They will scrutiny it, and if the research report was satisfactory, then they will release the amount. That also take little time. So don't go for the methodology of the project which costs you much. Like there are many instances where the medical college will promise the support, but they won't release adequate funding, which costs for test. Majorly, if they undergo any microbiology project, there may be any cost of reagents or specific tests. But according to ICMR STS, it should be paid by the college, but it's not in all colleges. It won't be possible. So don't choose the methodology which requires more funding. So keep that in mind. I don't think that once my fund will come, I can use the fund to the project. So that's the one thing I want to emphasize. And one more thing is we can publish your final article in any of the journal, or even ICMR Indian Journal of Medical Research accept student section, separate student ICMR where accept these articles, but the time is very consuming. So which I have observed with my previous colleagues, and you can publish it in various conferences. Even Soumya was one of my colleagues, so I have seen her presenting in various conferences, and she won and at many times when she presented, even in our own SMR conference and recently at IFMC. So yeah, you can present it in any conferences you would like to. And what if your project was not selected, as many panelists said? So go for it. Don't do only for ICMR. You can continue the project and you can do the same. And it is not like if more people from your college apply, the less chances you will get selected. Like few people have asked that, am I less likely to get selected if there are more people applying from my college? So if so, how can I make my project stand out? So it's not like that. So they won't see like these many submissions we received from these many colleges, so that we will select only 2 to 3 from each college or 4 to 5 from each college. So the entire thing is based on their scoring. So if there are 10 applications from your college, if 10 are good, 10 will be selected. So don't worry about that thing. So yeah, that's it. I don't want to take much of the time. It's already much time. So we can quickly proceed to the question and answer session. So, and the moderator, if you think the question was already covered previously during the talk by any of the panelists, so you can just skip it. And also I request other panelists to keep the answer as short as possible so that we can quickly wrap the session.
Thank you so much, sir. So we'll proceed to the question and answer session. The first question I have is for Dr. Prachit. What would be the format of consent forms and IEC?
Yes, thank you for that question. So, see, we have few ethics committee who themselves have a particular format. For example, where I was working earlier, I worked in Yenapoya Medical College for 7 years. And there the ethics committee had already come up with its own format for consent form as well as participant information sheet. So that was like a template. So we researchers, we followed that particular template, and based on our study, we used to, modify it and submit it. Of course, it has to be translated to the local language as well. Okay. And we used to submit it. So, but there's no format as such. There's no uniform format as such. Please remember that the consent form, it's a voluntary consent form. Okay. So it's a voluntary consent form wherein your study title should be there. The researcher's details should be there, and there should be space for the participant's signature to give his or her consent. So all these details need to be there. Then we have participant information sheet, wherein the objective of the study, the nature of experiments that are carried out, the rationale for conducting the study, what exactly is the role of the study participant, and also we give information as to whether it is compulsory on that person's compulsory on that person's part to participate in the study or not. And we also need to assure the participant that even if they do not participate in this particular study, their routine care in the hospital will not be affected. So this is basically what a participant information sheet does. There's no, to answer your question, there's no uniform format as such.
Thank you, sir. The next question is directed towards Charushila ma'am. If not selected for an individual research, can we apply to assist anyone on a similar research?
Sorry, I'm not getting.
If not selected for an individual research, can we apply to assist anyone on a similar research project?
Okay, so you can apply for this thing, but the thing is that 2 or more students should not apply for the same topic. Suppose that you and your friend are sending the same proposal with the same title, automatically it will be rejected. Okay, so choose different topics. Now, how to select this? First, I have already mentioned in my talk that first select the broad area, then lesson 8, just go finer and finer and finer, and then you will stick with the one idea, because there are the ample of topics. This is a Google world, so you will get ample of ideas. From this, you will research it, refine it, and then you will come to a particular idea. So if already thing is already applied, then if the project is of STS 2020, and if it is not completed, then only you can submit it, resubmit it as it is. But again, you will be in the same competition. We don't know that whether this time it will be selected or not. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. The next question again. I have applied in 2019 and got selected, even though a report has been submitted, but results are not out yet. Can I apply for this year with another topic again?
Yes, actually, you can apply. You can apply, but there is one clause which says that suppose somebody's report has been accepted once he has got the studentship, such students will not be selected again. There used to be a clause, but here, since the result is not yet out, I believe that the student can apply. So
Okay.
she can go ahead and apply.
The next question is for Charushila ma'am. What kind of research projects are accepted? Like, should it be a novel idea, or can be something that's previously done but not very much addressed topic?
Okay. So first thing that definitely whenever you are choosing the topic, as I already suggested, there are the multiple topics. Okay. As sir have also mentioned that there are the thrust areas. Okay. So you will start selecting from this. There should be the novel idea, but it should be feasible also. Okay. So first thing is that it should be feasible and it should be completed within that 2 months only, because you are going to go for the academic studies. Okay. So just think this feasibility is important, as the SMART criteria is there. So be specific and then search. Okay. Definitely it should be novel. Okay. Already the term that is a research, it doesn't mean that you are searching the things again, but don't go for the so common things. Okay, that very easy thing that you already know. These things are already happening, and then you are searching again and again in this circle. Don't go for this. Think something beyond, and you will get the ideas only if for the 2-3 days, if this is in your mind, if you are thinking, you are searching on the websites, then you will get something different idea. Okay, so just as I'm a physiologist, that there are the multiple things on the obesity, there are the multiple things on the autonomic function test. Okay, so if some student is thinking, then he have to think that what should be the area that this ANS function test among the diabetic people, ANS function test among the yoga persons, and then try to correlate it. Okay, so definitely the ANS function in the obesity is already done. Definitely the ANS function in the yoga is already done. Now try to correlate it. Now, what is the use of this? That if you can formulate the hypothesis like this, that if you are doing the yoga, then ANS function will be improved through this two comparisons, then definitely the chances of the selection are high. Instead of doing that, this causing this effect. Okay, try to compare, correlate, and one more thing, that try to get the studies which are helpful for the community. That whatever the thing you can plan out, it can be helpful for the, I'm not telling you that do only at the very much high level. Okay, but your simple things can helpful for the preparing the health projects. Okay, so these are the research. Try to start with the something different idea. Okay, which will be feasible. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. We have another question for you. What is the procedure to select a guide?
Okay. So first thing, that one teacher or one faculty, one guide. Okay, this is the first thing. Second thing, if you are a student of first year, you are free to select a guide from the first year, second year, third year, fourth year. Okay, but the faculty should be regular and full time. Okay. Second thing, that one guide should guide only one student. Okay, just remember this, because there was one experience that one faculty have signed the form of the two students in my previous institute, and then it was caused the rejection of the both the students. Okay, both the students' proposal was rejected. So just one student and one faculty, that should be the ratio. And second thing is that whenever you are selecting a guide, first thing, that see that how much you are comfortable whenever you are going to study. Okay, whenever, because for the next 2-3 months you have to deal with your guide regarding this project. Okay, so just choose it so that you are going to you are free to talk about the ideas. You can understand, or your guide can understand your ideas, can guide you properly. That is your intuition, that this is the person who can understand, and he or she guide me properly. But suppose that, as we know that STS awareness is increased, and so if you are not getting the guide, at that time, don't wait because that you don't get the guide and you are not submitting the proposal. Go and get, okay, submit the proposal. Afterwards, because of some reasons, if guide is leaving the institute, or if any other reason, at that time you have the provision of change of the guide. Okay, ICMR have provided this provision also, so you can do it afterwards also. You can have the option of co-guide also. Okay, so if you want that the two persons are involved, then you can take the help of the co-guide also. Okay, so your inclusion is important. It is not that if your guide has the so many publications, then only your proposal is selected. This is solely depend on your proposal. Okay, so your guide is important to help you, to guide you at this stage. Okay, their CV doesn't matter here. Okay.
And there's one last question. Someone has asked, as this is a crucial time for us due to exam, can they extend the date of the registration by any chance?
I don't think so. That because the ICMR has clearly mentioned that after the due date, that is from 11th, and I think that yes, there is a crucial time or exam time. It is very crucial and very important. But the registration process is hardly takes the 15 minutes. So you have to fill up your details, go and do the registration. Don't think about the projects and anything. As your exam ends, and after that, within 3 to 4 days, you can prepare the proposal and go ahead. Because 21st Feb is the last date for the project proposal submission. Okay, so until and unless there are the major COVID reasons or any emergency reasons, ICMR is not going to change the deadline.
Thank you, ma'am. So we have a question for you, Prachit sir. What should be sample size for questions or case control study?
Yes, sample size calculation depends on your research question. So it is not dependent on that much on the study design. Yes, we have different formula. We have a formula for sample size calculation in case of cross-sectional study, in case of case control studies, in case of RCTs. Yes, we have different formulae there, but it also depends on your research question, plus, you know, what articles you have selected. So you need to have a review of literature and you need to select some article that has, you know, that has been carried out, some study that has been carried out on the similar subject to calculate your sample size. So if you go to your statistician in your medical college or any other community medicine faculty, they will be able to help you or guide you in the sample size calculation.
Thank you, sir. We have another question. What are the chances of them accepting animal studies?
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Like Soumya want to leave. So
Yes, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm sorry, ma'am, and other panelists and sir. So thank you very much for having me here. We'll join in soon for future sessions also. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your insights.
Thank you.
I'm sure it was very valuable.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
So coming back to that question there, you know, on animal research, as ma'am already pointed out, it all depends on the quality of your research proposal. So it could be any research, it could be done on animals, it could be done on, you know, human participants, or it could be a lab related research. Ultimately, it depends on the reviewers, how they assess your proposal.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Virenchi, sir, we have a question for you. How to handle both research and studies?
I think time management is the key for this. I think every student here is a medical student. We have same amount of time in a day. So I think giving dedicated amount of time in a week towards your research work is as important as study. So if you are thorough in your daily revisions of your for your normal studies, which is education, I think you'll have every day 1 to 1 hour minimum to spare for your research work. I think time is the key.
Okay. Another question, is it feasible for me, being a final year, to apply and prepare protocol for STS when my university exam starts from first week of March?
Yeah, as I again said, it is possible, as even Charushila ma'am just explained. It takes only, I think, 4 days with good amount of guidance to craft a very good proposal. And since he's a final year student, I think he'll have a major advantage over first, second, and third year students, because he has seen, he knows various subjects and how to approach them. And so I think he can. That's possible.
Okay, so we had two questions for Soumya ma'am. I'll direct one towards you and one towards Tarun sir. So the first one being, will I be able to perform research while doing internship?
But you can do that, but that is before you sitting down for your final year exams. So if like right now, if they're in their final year and if their exams are from next week or so, let's say from Feb midweek or something, if they're submitting before that, I think they're allowed to take part in ICMR STS.
Okay, thank you. Tarun sir, we have a few questions for you. For plagiarism.
Yeah, you should be, every student should be very careful while submitting their final report to the ICMR STS. So the plagiarism should be under acceptable limit. I don't know what is the exact acceptable limit for ICMR STS. So after my thing, Sarah ma'am will answer it. So, but there are various tools to check plagiarism. The major are authenticate and Turnitin, which are not accessible to everyone. So if your institute gives you access, check in it. Otherwise, there are few online free checking plagiarism softwares. Like you can just go to the Google and just type free plagiarism checker. You can find small O tools, plagiarism detector, check plagiarism, dupli checker, etc. So, and regarding the acceptable limit of plagiarism, I think any one of the doctor can tell. Charushila ma'am or Prachit sir.
Attention, please.
Yes,
Due to
you
an
have to
incident,
check the
it may be
plagiarism,
necessary to
and
evacuate the
as the
building.
Tarun said that
Please
you
listen
can
for
check it
more
from any
information.
other software, but
You
it
will be
should be
informed if it
less
is
than the
necessary to
10%.
evacuate the building.
It should be less than 10%.
Okay, thank you.
And if you look at the ICMR STS website, there is one statement on plagiarism, wherein they have very clearly emphasized that plagiarism is unacceptable. It's important that you paraphrase the words. As ma'am said, 10% is acceptable, but beyond that, then they might even reject your report. Okay, and then there are some other misconducts, what we call as research related misconduct, like falsification, fabrication. All that has been clearly explained in the ICMR STS website. So please go through it.
Thank you, sir. Tarun sir, we have a question for you. As they have increased the stipend, does it mean they're expecting a bigger or more prominent research study than before?
No, nothing like that. So the sole purpose of introducing the stipend is just to encourage students. Like it can be a motive for students. Some feel stipend as a motive and apply. So even many people messaged me regarding that. So it's just a motivational factor. Nothing like the stipend has increased so that they will expect high-end studies like that. So that's it.
I have a question, Soumya ma'am, which I'll direct towards you. How to proceed for research for a beginner?
Beginner in the sense, simple. Like I think they can simply watch this session. They will get to know all the things. So yeah, just you can go through this session once again. So just choose your favorite topic. Then try to come up with a research idea. So pick a friendly guide, discuss with him. So the discussion is the key thing. So when I am taking the topic AMR, I don't know exactly what I to do in AMR. While discussing with my guide, I shared my ideas. He shared his ideas. So we both discussed, and later we come up with the exact our research title and etc. So that's the thing.
We'll move on to the YouTube questions that have been asked. Towards Sharon, can take different guides?
Yeah, I will quickly go through the YouTube thing since I have access. So no students can undertake two different projects under two different grades. One student can take only one project and it should be under only one guide. So I am skipping few questions which are already covered. So there is one question, I think Prachit sir, can you answer? I have a small query. My proposal got selected in 2018 and I completed my research and got certificate also. Can I again apply in 2022 for ICMR STS?
Yes, actually, there was a clause that, once somebody gets the stipend, they are not allowed to apply again. So Charushila ma'am can also educate us if the same clause was there this year as well. So according to me,
no, in this guideline, there are not mentioned that you cannot apply now. Okay, so you can apply this time.
okay, so fine. So now good that they have got rid of it, because earlier in the 2019 or 2020 ICMR STS, there was one clause which said that if the report has already been accepted once, the student cannot apply again. But good. So to answer your question, the
Yes.
student can again go ahead and apply.
Again
Apply, reapply.
Yes.
Yes, sir. One more question, sir. Can we include the name of our state or region in our research title, or should we hide it?
So I would say it's better to hide it.
Okay, sir.
Make it simple, something like a study carried out in India, rural area in India, or hospital, teaching hospital in India. So better not to include it.
Yes, sir. One more question for you, sir. Can we do retrospective study for ICMR?
Yes, absolutely possible. Retrospective in the sense, suppose, what is your interpretation of retrospective? That depends on that. The retrospective study here means the outcome has already occurred and we go back in time and we collect the data. It could be something related to record-based study. Yes, that is acceptable by ICMR.
Okay, sir. Ma'am, the last question, no, two more questions. Tutor can become a guide?
No, tutor cannot become a guide. A faculty member is only eligible to become a guide. And faculty member, that too regular faculty.
Okay, ma'am. And last question, how should we ensure that our research topic hasn't already been done before?
Actually, whenever you are starting the research, whenever you are searching the topics, so you can get all the publications related with this. On the Google, you will get all the publications. Now, it may be possible that whenever you and your student, your friend, should not submit the same topic. That is the basic idea. But you cannot predict that what the next college or any other college have submitted. So you have to think about yourself and try to minimize the submitting the same topic. That's it, because you cannot see all the topics who have already all the students have sent. So afterwards, ICMR will segregate it and then select it. Okay. So your role is choose a particular topic, try to be unique or try to do something different. Then there are the more chances of selection.
Okay, ma'am. One more question. Like, sir, I have applied in 2020 and got selected and submitted my report in 2020 and submitted my report in 2021 November. If I submit this again, will it impact my previous report status? Why I am asking, because that guide while I am submitting in 2020 in guidelines there was a clause which was mentioned like this. As we discussed it.
Means the student has submitted the report, right?
Yes.
And student want to again submit the project,
Yes.
synopsis, project proposal. First thing that if you have already submitted the report, just wait for the result for the 2022 as 2020 STS. And as the results are not declared, now he can prepare the project proposal, research proposal for the another topic. The 2020 STS same topic will be acceptable only if he have not submitted the report due to the COVID pandemic or due to any technical reasons.
Okay, ma'am. Sir, last question. Kindly guide what are the qualification criteria for co-guides?
Well, for a guide, as ma'am said, they have to be full-time regular faculty members. Tutors are not acceptable. Okay. Because even now, if you see those who do their MD, MS, even they, for the first 1 year, they'll be called as tutors. That's what NMC says. Even tutors are not acceptable. This is for the guide, but there's no such criteria as such for the co-guide. Because as ma'am told, if you have noticed in her talk as well, the co-guide's name doesn't get reflected. This is just an internal arrangement where the co-guide will, contribute, help the student, coordinate with the guide and all that. So the qualifications as such do not matter. They should be a faculty member in the department or in the college. That's it.
Okay, sir. There are few questions I can see in YouTube. So, can the questionnaire in the cross-sectional study be answered by participants on online platforms like Google Forms? Like, I have received this common query, sir. I think you can answer this better.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. It depends on what kind of participants you are looking at. If they are educated, if they have access to mobile phone, you can use online platforms. This is the way forward now. We are all learning to deal with this pandemic, right? So a lot of online questionnaire-based studies are on the go now.
There are the one option that is the Survey Monkey. On
Survey
that
Monkey
also, you can use it and you will get the ample of data, proper standard data. So you can use these tools.
Okay. Ma'am, one more question. Is it better to have a guide and topic we are in current year studying? Considering I am in first year and my topic is of medicine, what's the level of knowledge needed here? I think a first year student asked this.
The question is that research is not research do not have the first year, second year, third year, fourth year criteria. Okay, research is research. There is one idea, you evolve the things around it. You are trying to first thing that you are trying to get something new. You are trying to correlate the things. You are trying to compare the things. If you are in the first year, try to take an idea from the first year. It will be more feasible for you. If you are thinking about the what will be the effect of the medicine and drug therapies in between the patients, then first you need to get the knowledge about that medicine. Here you need to understand first the anatomy, physiology, biochemistry. So just try to evolve something around the first year, and then you try to evolve. But if you get a good information related with this, your guide is too much supportive, and if you have the confidence that though you are in the first year, you can crack this and you will able to do it, then go ahead. But first thing is that see the feasibility, and don't forget that you are the medical student and you have, along with this, you have to give your exams, university exams also. So don't try to mix these two things. Don't try to do something, just focus on the feasibility. That's what I would like to say.
Okay, ma'am. So I'm taking the last question of this day. So if we have completed the research and even though it didn't get selected, so where can we publish it as a student? So there are multiple journals. If you see, you can send us to our journal, Global Journal of Medical Students. If you go to any other journal, there are multiple journals you can find in online. So you can take a journal related to your subject specific journal or a normal institution journal. It's up to you. So you can reach to James regarding any help. So we can guide you for it. So I think moderator, please proceed for the vote of thanks.
With this, we come to an end to our today's panel discussion. I would like to conclude with a short quote. Everyone has a transferable commodity, that is knowledge. Sharing your unique expertise and making introductions for someone creates a long-lasting legacy. We are extremely honored and grateful to Dr. Charushila and Dr. Prachit sir for taking time out from their tedious schedule and helping GAIMS and various students learn the importance and steps for ICMR STS project. This panel has left us with a complete guide ICMR STS, and we hope that we get to host more such panels in the future also. Lastly, I would like to thank all the students and audience for joining us today.
Thank you all. It was a very wonderful